Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and I'm just sitting here in my robe drinking my morning coffee looking sexy as hell as usual. And for those of you who say I don't look sexy as hell when I do these videos in my robe, nobody cares what you think. I didn't ask you shit. Now this morning I want to talk about something slightly different, and I think it's an important point though because it does tie in a bit to when I talk to you guys about your mentality and a lot of you younger guys about transitioning into manhood. And this is something that I noticed based upon responses of some people to something that happened on my fan page yesterday. I'm not going to get into the full details of it, but my response to an individual online who I have met in person and probably will meet in person again, talking about I'm a pussy, they're going to drop me. And it's the generational gap of younger guys not understanding what fighting is in the adult world. And it has to do with the fact that when young men are growing up, we wrestle and we fight and we get in fist fights, not as acts of true violence, but we do it to assert our dominance, to establish ranking to some extent. We're almost like a pack of wolves. It's not really meant as a negative thing. We get in little fights over, you said something about my mom, and then you assert your dominance, and everyone knows you're tougher than that guy, and that's the end of it. Grown men do not fight for these reasons. Grown men, and when I say grown men, I don't mean 18, 19, 20 years old. This is something that happens, you get to be about 25 or older. You're going to find that grown men, married men, mature men, oftentimes with children and careers, or any way you look at them, people that you would think of as mature men, particularly those with a type A personality, which is about a third of the population, do not view a fist fight as an assertion of dominance. They view it as life and death combat and will treat it accordingly. With younger guys, and you guys get in a fist fight, whether you're the one who starts it or not, usually when one person pretty much cries uncle or they tap out, the fight stops. And younger guys don't understand it. When you start getting in confrontations with older grown men, they don't stop beating on you just because you tap out. Every emergency room around the world is used to dealing with this. What actually happens is they and then their friends and everyone else pretty much keep kicking and beating you for the next 5 minutes until they get a cramp in their leg or they break their toe on your rib after you tap out. And younger guys who talk about this don't understand this. Adults, they don't stand around and cheer and watch the fight. It's not a show. They understand it for what it is. It is a true combat and a true struggle when adults are involved in a conflict. It is actually a serious situation. And by that same token, younger guys don't seem to realize if you walk up to someone who has that mentality, which is again the mature adult mentality, and you make a fist and you threaten to hit them, they're not going to stand there and trade blows with you. If they have a gun or a knife on them, they're probably going to pull it and use it on you. That's how you get stabbed or shot in the adult world. If there's a chair nearby or a piece of wood or a steel pipe or anything, they're probably going to grab that and knock the fuck out of you with it. Because I have seen this happen at least a dozen times in my life. That's what happens. They don't stand there and fist fight you. They find something to hit you. And in the worst case, if you do end up whooping their ass in a fight, you got to do enough damage that they can't immediately retaliate. Because a lot of grown, mature adults, they take an ass whooping in a fight. They're going to go off and get a gun. And they're going to come back and find you an hour later and shoot you. And why am I saying that? Because it happens every single day. Fights in the adult world are not like in the child's world where it's to assert dominance and everyone stands around and watches and no one gets seriously injured or killed. Younger guys need to understand that as you mature into an adult, you need to understand that when you get in fist fights, they are life and death. There's a real possibility that when you do get into a physical confrontation with adults, that you are going to die, or there's a possibility that you're going to have to kill that person. Because they're not going to stop just because somebody cries uncle. Or just because you beat them in a fight, they're going to come back. So you got to be prepared to finish them off at that point. It doesn't work like with children where you can just beat them down and dominance is established and they quit. So it's just there's an age gap difference, and I think it's a lot of the younger guys in the fitness world are not at that age of mature adults yet, and they don't seem to understand that fighting in the adult world does not have the same meaning that it does when you're 17 or 18 years old. Especially guys when they get 25 and up. Fighting at that age and up, it's a serious combat situation. It is life and death, and they generally treat it accordingly. And people get shot, killed, stabbed, concussions from being hit with something every single day in every city and town around the world because of this. That is what fighting is in the adult world. So I think you younger guys need to step back and understand the difference. Alright guys, so that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it has been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.